daughter Janelle was in trouble. He knew as much. There was a $3,000 bounty on her head. He knew that, too. He'd learned from a family friend in the CIA that Bill Payne and Billie Jean Hayworth were plotting to kill his daughter. So what choice did he have? He enlisted Janelle's boyfriend Jamie, and together they killed Bill and Billie Jean to protect Janelle. It was a father's duty. It had to be done. There was just one problem. Buddy Potter didn't actually know anyone in the CIA. Not anybody real, anyway. And the deeper investigators dug, the more they came to realize the horrible truth. Every aspect of the crime, except the brutal murders, that is, was a figment of Janelle Potter's imagination. Janelle Potter was born with an auditory processing disorder. Her hearing impairment was severe enough that it eventually led to cognitive problems, which themselves proceeded to limit her mental development and cap her functions of higher learning. She read fine and could speak eruditely, if in an odd sing-song lilt, but her spelling wasn't very good, and she faced limits on her ability to parse non-literal meaning, vocal inflection, and conversational norms. For instance, she didn't understand sarcasm. She often tried to hug people she barely knew, and she had trouble interpreting anything short of unconditional approval as anything other than a direct threat. She doesn't understand common joking, Janelle's older sister Christy told a county prosecutor. Christy also claimed that Janelle had a history of manipulating her parents, learning from a young age that if she pretended that she needed their help or couldn't do something, then they would do it for her. After they'd left, she'd giggle with glee. At first, such special treatment seemed to Janelle to be a positive. But as Janelle grew older, she found herself trapped in a sheltered, pre-scripted life. Her sister Carrie earned an associate's degree, married, and moved away. But Janelle didn't, and by the time she hit 30, she found herself still living at home with her parents. She didn't have a driver's license, so anywhere she wanted to go, her parents had to take her. She had diabetes. She wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend. She was still a virgin, and not by choice. In short, her life was empty, boring, and cold. Until two things happened. One, she found the internet, and two, she met a man. As for the internet, it was a beacon of light. Finally, Janelle had people to talk to, people who didn't judge her on her social oddities or the physical ungainliness of her 6-foot frame. Plus, it was a realm in which her parents, older people not technologically inclined, couldn't keep her constrained. Secondly, there was the man. Actually, there were two. A pharmacist at a local store who'd taken pity on lonely Janelle introduced her to two men, the pharmacist's brother, Bill Payne, and their cousin, Jamie Curd. Bill was a social butterfly. Curd was a computer nerd who'd never had a girlfriend. Payne was the one Potter fell for. Curd was the one she ended up with. I know Billy, that bitch, has lived with more guys and had sex with 80% of Mountain City. Topics.com post 2011. For a time, Janelle's life was looking up, though she had to keep her blossoming relationship with Jamie Curd a secret from her parents. She reveled in having someone special in her life. Unbeknownst to Janelle's parents, Curd bought her a cell phone. They spoke on it for hours every night, and Janelle used it to send Jamie nude photographs, a stand-in for intimacy even when they couldn't be physically proximate. However, Janelle never lost her crush on Bill Payne, but when he started getting serious with Billie Jean Hayworth, that's when the trouble began. First, there were the harassing phone calls, 10, 20 calls a day of heavy breathing and hanging up. Next came message board posts like the one above, accusing Billie Jean and her friends of rampant promiscuity and claiming that they all carried HIV. The posts were written under pseudonyms, Matt Potter, Dan White, etc., but in every case authored by Janelle. Janelle reveled in the anonymity of the internet, and she began creating entire threads of back-and-forth conversations under multiple personae, all decrying the one who'd claimed the object of her affection. After a while, that wasn't enough. She began posting nasty messages to her own Facebook page, then claimed that she had been hacked by Billie Jean and her cabal of mean girls. She started claiming that she herself was the victim of harassment and not the other way around. Her parents, technologically unsophisticated as they were, believed.